Yep. That's exactly right. No question about it. I like this connection. All right, we are getting ready. Yes, it is, as a matter of fact. Who knows what's in store? Not sure. Here we go. Yep. Governor McKee is going out for Halloween as a non crooked politician. That's his costume. It is comical that he thinks he's been vindicated. The only place that McGreed has been vindicated is the embarrassing interview he did on WPRO. That's it. WMcKee. We are live. We have news in North Providence. We have news in Woonsocket. We have an announcement on the new case that we're going to take. Yep. And I have some thoughts on it as well that we'll talk about. Folks, we're going to be live. We're going to be out later, obviously. Yep. We will be out later on this Halloween. Who knows what could happen? But we are going to take on the Michelle Romano case. These people. The challenge is dealing with the public. The challenge, there's several challenges. Well, obviously, there's different challenges, but one of the challenges is dealing with public and misinformation. The amount of misinformation is just with little to no consequence. Little to no consequence. We'll talk about it. All right, we're live in 2 minutes. These people, whatever happened to you can't let these people drag you down. But it is a challenge. No one said it wasn't. How about McGreed thinks he's vindicated? Oh, he's vindicated, all right. What a thief. But shame on WMcKee for protecting him. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. All right, we're standing by. JR is going to give us the signal. I like these people just decide, whatever happened to go to I can't stand these people. No wonder these people fail. You know, I heard a good quote. Winners are people that do things that losers don't want to do. I like that. Okay, we are standing by for our cue. Yep. And there it is, folks, at 106. Happy Halloween, one and all. Yes, this is the real news people have been waiting for. My goodness. And there's a lot of news on this, excuse me, Halloween. A lot of news indeed. This point, let's stay on schedule, though. There's a thought. Let's stay on schedule. Right now, we are live, obviously, on the radio, AM 1380, 99.9 FM. We are not a co-conspirator, enabler of Governor McGreed. I'll tell you that much. We don't give him little nicknames like Candyman and thank him for T-shirts and protect him and provide sanctuary for this thief, this scandalous crook, who's as Gary Sass said, the most ethically challenged administration since Governor DePrete, and that's putting it mildly. So this portion of the program, folks, is brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Stop it and see them. Fall, what a fall we have had. In October for the ages. Homegrown mums and kale are outstanding. Pumpkin, straw bales, corn stalks, gourds, Indian corn, they have it all. Native vegetables are available. Stop it and see them. They're open 7 days a week. It's Steve and Debbie Jr., Byron, Lauren, PR, Landscape Materials, and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. Now, we have a lot of updates on DePietro.com. We're going to continue to have more updates. There's some stories and cases that we're taking on. Remember, it begins and ends with DePietro.com. Now, if you have a question on the Charlotte Lester case, whatever happened, boom, I can't stand the laziness of these people. Check DePietro.com. We have more than anyone, and it's brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner, drinks on the lounge. They're waiting for you, excuse me, at the Coesit Inn. Now, I want to bring people up to speed. Yes, we're going to be active. This, Catherine. We're going to be active with Road Patrol later. I want to log on to my own website, as a matter of fact, simply because I just put out some information. And what you also see is some of the okay, we will follow up on that. We'll follow up on that. Now, let's see. I want to get to, let's start off in Woonsocket. Woonsocket police. Now, last night, I was receiving messages from people that there was a shooting and homicide in Woonsocket. Now, folks, I want to caution people. That people, whenever you see on some of these dedicated Facebook pages to certain areas, it doesn't mean that it certainly doesn't mean that it's gospel. And it doesn't mean necessarily that it's accurate. And what people need to start to do is start to question, and I can't do this for everybody, but start to question some of the people, such as, how do you, there's a really simple question. And when you ask the question, how do you know this? So there's a Facebook page, Woonsocket Police Fire Scanner Group. They put that it was a homicide last night. Kayla Ducharme, someone shot after an argument. Unfortunately, they didn't make it. Yup. Oh, yeah, a lot of blood. Somebody, Kayla Ducharme, whoever that is. Yup. So she's reporting, yup, this was all over an argument. There was a homicide last night. I mean, I don't understand the nature of this, but if you log on to DePietro.com, excuse me, I have it on a Facebook page from Woonsocket Police. There were reports of a shots fired at 240 Rock Ridge Drive last night. The night platoon arrived quickly. It appeared the involved vehicle had fled. The suspect vehicles were described only as a dark SUV, light-colored sedan, possibly a Nissan Altima. 3 9mm shell casings were recovered by the BCI detective from the Woonsocket Police. There was a small amount of blood on the ground also. However, no victims were reported at Landmark Medical Center. All witnesses were uncooperative. So let's just unpack this for a moment. Was there a shooting in Woonsocket last night? Yes, there was. Was it a homicide? Now, Kayla Ducharme, apparently, and these other people, I don't know how someone puts that out, but I want to go a step further just for a moment. Again, I don't know who that individual is. But what I don't understand is many people just take that as, well, she must know, whoever's posting it, because it's on this page. Folks, you have to start to, I implore you, and I know some of this will fall on deaf ears, but if it reaches one person, you get a lot of questions answered when you ask the question, how do you know that? How do you know that? Now, I find it ironic that none of the witnesses are cooperative. All witnesses were uncooperative. That's the McKee effect. Governor McKee, this morning, in his radio segment, Protect the Governor, was asked, why didn't you sit down with your own? Governor McKee is ultimately in charge of the Rhode Island State Police, as frightening as that is. Governor McKee's in charge. He picks the head of the state police. Governor McKee was asked, why didn't you sit down with your own police force ultimately? And Governor McKee said, because it was a trap set by police. Folks, that is the mentality. Let me be very clear. That is the mentality of a criminal. That state police have some questions on a multi-million-dollar contract that he put out, he interfered with. He ultimately steered it the direction he wanted it to go. It was a rigged bid contract. So, as a result of that, there was an investigation. And what did it prove? The only thing missing was going to be the payment. That doesn't mean there wasn't going to be a payment. But why Governor McKee is upset, here's why you should be upset. Now, I can't believe he's allowed to go on. Channel 12 broke the story on the ILO investigation. They did, to their credit. McKee goes on the radio, his segment, Protect the Governor, and puts jabs into Channel 12 and is allowed to and encouraged by it. Now, listen, I just have this thing. That's a form of corruption that he's protected down the dial. But here's what you should know about Governor McKee. The real reason he's upset with Channel 12 is he awarded this contract and he was expecting a big payment in return. Channel 12 and Attorney General Pina Nerona blew the whistle on it before they could pay him. So McKee cuts a deal with this ILO group people and says, yes, I'm going to steer this money to you. Now, I've heard large amounts of money tossed around, like beyond six figures, well into six figures. He was promised a cut of whatever the contract was going to be. But look what happened. Before they could deliver to him, Channel 12 blows the whistle. So suddenly now, right, this is like the scene from Heat where they go into the metals place and then one of the guys in the van with Al Pacino makes a noise. So then inside, Chris and Neil McCauley, he says, we walk. And then they're ready to arrest them. And then Al Pacino, who's Vincent, says, his guy is saying to him, Vincent, they're not carrying anything. They're not carrying anything. We can't arrest them. They did walk in. They did go in. They were about to steal whatever they were going to steal. But then when police were outside, they walked out. So, in other words, let's just play this out in real time. McKee, they go in and they have an agreement. We're going to give you the contract in exchange for the money. Channel 12 and Pina Nerona draw attention to it. So then McKee has to walk away and say, no, there's no payment. The reason he is angry, Governor McKee, is because the Channel 12 report and the Pina Nerona Attorney General investigation cost him money, cost him a lot of money. Now, he was promised the deal was a quid pro quo. The only thing missing was the payment. So Attorney General Pina Nerona, and this is clear as day, this can't be interpreted any other way. And what I cannot believe is down the dial, they're trying to play it off like he's vindicated. So he's not vindicated. He's even having a press conference this afternoon. He thinks he's vindicated. He's not vindicated. What is striking is the station down the dial. That is, they're not the station of record. They are the station. It's W. McKee RO. It is the station of corruption. Listen, as we've talked about, McKee surrogate campaign coordinator, they give him 3 hours a day. And I mean, this whole business of Gene uses this as an opportunity to needle Channel 12. It's so sophomoric. There's an opportunity. Like, why are you protecting this guy? It's very obvious you're protecting him. Why? Because they have you host. We're going to take the independent man down off the State House and you get to be the host for it. What do they give you for that? $500? Like, that's what it's worth to you? Or we're going to have whatever, some kind of state dinner, and don't worry, we'll pay you whatever it is, 500, 600, 1,000, whatever. Like, it's such small change. You're allowing this guy to get away with this stuff. So petty. That's what happened. That's why McKee is so angry at Channel 12 over the money. McKee keeps walking around saying, they owe me. Channel 12, because of them. I was supposed to be getting $250,000 from ILO. So they blew the deal. You know, McKee's new thing going forward, if you notice, is cash in advance. I'm not getting burned like that again. Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee. What happened with the people that wanted to rehabilitate the Cranston Street Armory? What did McKee do? He had set up the lunch with the lobbyist, total sleaze factor. And what did he tell them? Cash in advance. From now on, let me see the green. No, I'm not falling for that again. Nope. With ILO, I had to deal with them. It's supposed to be 10%. I gave them whatever the contract, 5 to 10 million. They were supposed to kick that back to me. Suddenly, Channel 12 breaks the story. Nerone is sniffing around. Now I'm stiff the money. That's what happened. Don't let anybody spin it differently to you. That's why he's upset. They awarded the contract to another company. And what did McKee say? I think you need to relook at that. So then they rewrote the specs, so there was really only one company that could qualify for it. And then even the person involved with it it's a rigged bid. It's a rigged bid. The one part that was missing was McKee grabbing the money, right? However it was going to be, 100,000, right, in untraceable bills wired to an account, whatever was supposed to be, just as they were on the verge of doing it. Now, I've heard speculation that the people involved, they didn't like that they were actually had to pay that kind of money. They didn't like that. I've heard that they were the ones that blew the whistle on McKee. You know, again, I'm going to go to a film. You've seen Goodfellas. All of a sudden, the character Robert De Niro says, you know what? I know we pulled off the Lufthansa thing, but I don't feel like paying them. So what does he do? One by one, he knocks them all off. So I've heard the people involved with ILO suddenly were like, I don't know. Like, that's a lot of money that we have to give McGreed. So what if we send something to Channel 12, it blows it open, and then McKee says, oh, you can't pay me right now. I mean, whatever it is, let me just say this. He's not vindicated. He's not vindicated. And I think it speaks volumes. He was running from the media today. He says he's having a briefing. They didn't think it through. If I didn't have so many other things going on, I would actually go to it. But now I also want to talk about this tragic situation in North Providence that I want to touch on. But folks, this portion, and we did get word of this. Let me just sum up. The people, whether you're in Woonsocket or somewhere else, listen, just because you see something, someone posts something. I mean, there were people last night messaging me at 11:30. There was a homicide in Woonsocket. That's totally false. And it's all because someone posted that, as if that means anything. It doesn't mean anything. Totally false. Folks, this portion of our program, it's brought to you by Kids Club on the Pike, birthday parties, before and after school programs, preschool programs. Perfect for a birthday party venue, teams. Kids Club on the Pike, located right on the Cranston-Johnston line on Plainfield Pike. You can call them at 401-443-5336. It's Kids Club on the Pike. Kids Club on the Pike. I share their Facebook page. It's an ideal spot for, you're going to have a birthday party for a child or a grandchild, whether they're 2 years old, whether they're 13 years old. If you want to have them over to your home, okay, the kids, here's when you get a group of children, they want to run around. Kids Club on the Pike is designed for that, the whole space. It's right off at 295. It's right on the Cranston Johnson line. Kids Club on the Pike. Folks, this portion of the program, now when you look out the window and you see all those leaves out there, what are you going to do about the leaves? I'll tell you what you should do for your fall cleanup. Call JD's Lawn Care and Tree Service, 401-441-0154. 441-0154 for JD's Lawn Care and Tree Service. Get rid of those leaves. Now, I do want to pick up. Last night also, we had a report. It was a busy night. If you didn't see Road Patrol last night, started with huge fight right at the train station. Halloween Eve, folks, from now until Monday. Actually, I think it's going to go till Wednesday. We're going to have a crime wave from now to Wednesday. Number one, people are very apprehensive about the election. Happens every 4 years. It's really happening right now, number one. Number two, tonight's Halloween. And then Halloween weekend tends to be the most violent weekend of the year, even more than the summertime, for various reasons. So Road Patrol last night, we started there at the train station. I was proposition tempted. No, hardly. Some Kennedy Plaza person is like, I won't even get into it. Subscribers know what I'm talking about. Excuse me. Then we were at the task force. Then there was a guy. Someone had a weapon outside of women and infants. This afternoon tonight, Road Patrol, we're going to be in action. Halloween night, and I'm telling you, it carries all the way through the weekend. There's just, I don't know what it is. Plus, we start a new month. There's just something about this time of year that people just start losing it a little bit. So last night after Road Patrol, there were two stories from monitoring. Number one, my sources said, no, this was not a homicide. People, you need to get to Woonsocket. There was some, I just read from this Kayla person, there's a, oh my God. Okay. And then have her go. No, it was shots fired. It's shots fired. I'm not saying someone wasn't shot. No one walked in the landmark. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they drove somewhere else. I don't know. Then I was alerted there was something going on in North Providence. They received a report. Palm Street. This is North Providence. Suicidal male left his residence on foot earlier that day. Officers were told a letter was found shortly after 4 o'clock from the missing party's girlfriend. Handwritten letter from Carl McNeil. He was going to harm himself, possession of a firearm. He left the residence 10 o'clock on foot, left his cell phone behind. Never a good sign when they leave the cell phone behind. Officers told he was heading towards wooded areas. Now, I didn't learn about this till last night. Now, my experience has been it's really difficult to find something. If someone wants to do this, my experience has been it's really difficult at night. Very difficult at night. So did I head to North Providence? I did not, simply because, as I said, number one, if they have the canines, they tell me that I interfere with the scent. Number one. Number two, wooded area at night, very difficult. That's like sometimes people will say, hey, there's something going on the bay. Do you know how difficult it is at night? Do you know how difficult it is to see anything out on the water at night? But anyhow, so here's from North Providence Police. The search was suspended. Safety concerns in navigating through heavy woods and brush, let alone this guy is somewhere maybe lying in wait with a weapon. They were notified he enjoyed walking in Lincoln Woods after the search was suspended. That might have been useful information prior to them heading out. This morning, prior to continuing the search, the Lincoln Department notified that at approximately 8:15, a body was observed by a passing motorist lying the wood line at the intersection of Albion Road and Knollwood Road. Now, that's why it was closed off. Now, I did have people contact me saying, hey, it's closed off. I think there's a body there. So they responded. He had suffered a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head, pronounced dead at the scene. So those are two specific things that just happened in just that's news that is real news, but that's news that is just coming down as we are speaking right now at 1:27 on this Halloween. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by, now there's more news, Watson Materials. Remember, Watson Materials. Call them for a quote, 401 885 0600. 401 885 0600. Watson Materials, the most complete selection of landscape material in Rhode Island, landscape lighting, pavers, retaining walls, natural stone, cobblestone, decorative stone. Watson Materials. Call them today at 401 885 0600. 401 885 0600 for Watson Materials. Well, folks, good afternoon. Now, as we are live, and we're going to be, hold on one moment. I just want to, I am responding to someone. And I am going to be, are you telling me to take that down? So this is interesting, to take it down. All right, you get contacted, and I don't know who that person is, and you get contacted by one family member that says, "Hey, we'd like you to look into a disappearance of someone," and then you get contacted by another family member that says, "Who gave you permission?" Hey, I don't have to. I absolutely don't have to. So, okay. So I don't. Again, I'll let that straighten out. So we'll hold off on that. Hey, that's entirely up to those individuals. So we'll hold off on that. Maybe this is. I would recommend the family maybe get everything in line. So we're gonna postpone on that. Hey, you know what the good news is? Not a problem. Not a problem. You have a missing family member. You get contacted by one family member, and then another family member says, "Hey, who gave you permission to?" Oh, okay. Hey, guess what? You know what the good news is? Not a problem. Not a problem. I thought I was dealing with the decision maker here. Apparently not. Apparently not. Let's see. Now, I want to just check the latest because McKee was running this morning, Governor McKee. I want to just make sure that we're up on. Oh, okay. Look at that. Joe Rogan has interviewed J.D. Vance. Now, on a national front, I believe all momentum right now. I believe all momentum right now, seemingly, is with the Trump campaign. And I'm very curious what that's going to mean for places like Rhode Island and Massachusetts, where everyone is lined up. Everyone is lined up behind Harris Waltz. I think I'll say that I think President Trump is going to do better in both Rhode Island and Massachusetts. That's being reported greatly. I think there's more support for it. We know the media and where they are. That's more than clear at this point. I think the media is not asking the right questions when it comes to who people really want. I also want to I'm just going to say briefly, folks, yesterday I had on the person running for Congress in Rhode Island. And what did we have? That's not the way you present yourself to voters. It's just not. He was wearing a comic book shirt. He was, I don't know what was going on with the lighting. It's almost like he had the light pointing out, nervously drinking water, won't say commit. That was his reaction. I don't know if I'm voting for Trump. Clearly not looking at the landscape. The Rhode Island Republican Party certainly has their challenges. I thought it's doing a nice thing by, yeah, let's have him on, running against Seth Magaziner. I give credit to people that run for office. It's true. I do give credit to people who run for office. However, there's a way to go about it. You just keep saying, I'm like this quirky, regular guy. Well, I think the economy is the issue. You're not listening to what's going on. Law and order is the issue, and it's tied in with immigration. So I want to play. This is now Channel 10. Speaking of law and order, this is Brian Crandall trying to get answers from Governor McKee. He can't answer that question. I wonder, is he really going to have this 3:00 press conference? So he does an interview this morning, Protect the Governor, on W. McKee RO. And he did take some questions from JR, not a lot. And so Channel 12 is standing out oh, yeah, I'm going to talk later. But folks, a question, he doesn't have an answer for this. Of course he doesn't have an answer. And it's a pretty simple question. McKee told Brian Crandall he didn't talk to the media because he wanted to hear what Nerona had to say. So now he's still not talking. I'm going to cut to the chase here. What would be the explanation? And I want to be very clear. This business, I understand you have the right to remain silent. And this is where I even have a disagreement with our legal expert, attorney Tim Dodd. And Tim Dodd, many times, I fully understand the concept. You have the right to remain silent. And the police want to bring you in on questioning on something. I understand that right is protected. When someone is sitting in a courtroom, they're under the law. They are presumed not guilty, and they do not have to testify, much as we just saw in the wrapped up in plenty of trials where the defendant doesn't testify. However, let's step back for a moment. This is Governor McKee awarded to his pals, friends, donors, campaign donors, a multi-million-dollar contract. And then he feels he doesn't have to answer any questions about it. And he's trying to say, well, I was no under obligation. He instructed his staff and himself, and they wouldn't answer questions with Rhode Island State Police or the Attorney General's office. And I will tell you that that is completely unacceptable. And there he is. You know, I'll tell you, want to talk about tone deaf. Not only is Governor McKee tone deaf, but he was saying, and I don't know, I didn't hear the full thing, to be honest with you, but he was being said, and this has been really hard on First Lady Sue McKee. Well, you know what's been hard on people? Watching jobs leave the state, Governor. You know what's been hard on people? The people at Hasbro realizing that they're leaving. You know what's been, this whole thing has been really hard on, the First Lady, Sue McKee. You know what's been difficult? The traffic in the bridge that's been affecting everyone. You know what else is difficult, Governor? Families that have children that graduate college in their 20s, and they have to move out of state to find work because there's no jobs in the state. And I don't mean there's no jobs. I mean there's no high-paying industry, expanding growth type jobs. The goal can't be for everyone. I want to, my child's going to go to URI, and then I'm going to work to get them a job with a city or a town or the state. That can't be everybody, and it's not everybody. But private companies are, as I have talked about, they're not going to come in here and be shaken down in a pay-to-play atmosphere. And that's what he's running. That's what he is running. So his attitude that the investigation has been very difficult on his family, and especially, I believe I heard him say, and on Sue McKee, the First Lady? Well, his actions have been difficult for a lot of families. His incompetence, his refusal to hire competent people around him, his decision to not have any accountability with that bridge has thrown off the lives of a lot of families. You have people leaving jobs. You have people that they're at wits' end what they're going to do about the Washington Bridge. You have people that it's destroying where they take their children for childcare. That's how self-centered, absorbed this guy is. So he thinks he's going to go there at 3:00. See, this is how tone deaf they are. And I want to tell you a quick story. But at 1:38, I want to stay on schedule. All right, I was going to announce a new case, and now I'm getting mixed messages. So we're going to put that to the side for now. I want to remind you folks about J. Perry Paving. Call them today. J. Perry Paving, 401-732-1730. 401-732-1730, letter J. J. Perry Paving. High quality, fair pricing, exceptional service, 20 years experience, specialized commercial paving, residential paving, seal coating patios, free estimate. Call J. Perry Paving today. 401-732-1730. Do you need your driveway paved? You do, or maybe your parking lot. I have the phone number to call. Request a quote. Letter J. J. Perry Paving. 401-732-1730. And remember, no one is better with veterans than J. Perry Paving. 401-732-1730, letter J. J. Perry Paving. Well, folks, good afternoon. Again, this is the real news. I remember during the O.J. Simpson trial, and just quick story, but it ties in with McKee. He and his staff actually think that they're going to spin that he's not not facing criminal charges with the ILO investigation. His line is, it's a good day for Rhode Island. And he feels vindicated. Even though Attorney General Pino Neronha was very clear that he and his staff wouldn't cooperate with state police. Governor McKee was asked, well, why didn't you talk to the police? And he said, this is Governor McKee now, sitting governor, talking to state police is a trap. And then we wonder why some of these people don't cooperate. But I'll tell you how tone deaf he is. During the O.J. Simpson trial that I followed and covered extensively, I was having lunch with a friend. And he said, boy, when this thing is over, if this is not guilty, he told me O.J. Simpson's going to make a fortune off of this. And I looked at him and said, I wish I had recorded it and even put it in writing. I said, what? Are you kidding? He's going to make the rounds on Oprah. Like, can you believe I was wrongfully accused? And blah, blah. Oh, he's going to. I said, you are not watching the trial. And this was during the trial. I said, he may get off. And after you saw the jury, but I said, anyone that's watching the trial, he may, through Johnny Cochran, F. Lee Bailey, Barry Scheck, he may weasel out of it. But there's anyone that watched the Simpson trial, there's no question he was the person that took the life of his former wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and Ron Goldman. It's crystal clear what happened. So, oh no, people, I'll never forget, he'll go on Oprah. Can you imagine? Well, we know how that played out. Was he treated like a hero? No. Did he make a fortune after that? No. He had to go to unscrupulous individuals and write books like, if I had done it. No, he was a pariah. He spent his last years on life as a pariah. He was shunned by everyone. And then he lost in the civil trial. So my point is, McKee, when this happened, he and his brain trust, and I heard Pork Boy weighed in, down the dial, of which, by the way, they don't disclose that. They should. But they say, oh, this is a win. You've been vindicated. You prove, see, that's not what happened. What they didn't count on was Attorney General Peter Nerona laying out a full case to say the problem with the statute, and Peter Nerona explained it very thoroughly. This was an absolute bribery case. Governor McKee should be going to jail. But when Channel 12 blew the whistle on the deal, and then the state police, the attorney general, and even the FBI started investigating, McKee didn't get payment. They, they laid low. So you were stuck with a quid with no quo. They were then unable to complete the transaction. That's what happened. So much like I said in the film Heat, yeah, they did go into the metals and they were drilling through, but they didn't come out with anything. They didn't steal anything. What are we going to get them for? Breaking and entering? 6 months and they're out. So what McKee and his staff, and this is so symbolic, he does not have good people around him. He does not have good political instincts. He has not sought out to get good people around him. I've been and worked around people like that. They make it impossible for any reason to come into a discussion or a conference room. They do. And the way he then treats people, if you don't go along with their foolishness, then you're cut out. That's basically what happens. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know that they're definitely gunning for him, and he's going to try to say that, well, this lifts the cloud, and this doesn't lift any cloud. Let me say this about former Cumberland Mayor and Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee, who, and this goes back to, he lost day of voting to Helena Folks. So that's not who the people wanted. Look at the state right now. State surplus, state budget could face a deficit of close to $1 billion next year. Does he seem positioned for that? The bridge is not only a disaster, but the bridge, they actually don't know what to do about the bridge. And that's the problem. He doesn't have a plan. Every time they have a plan, they have to rework the plan. So the Superman building is not happening. Hasbro is leaving the state. CVS is leaving the state. Governor McKee tells companies, if you want to come here and you want to do business here, you have to let these union people run your business. And many business people say, I've done pretty well this far running my own business. I don't know if I need to hand the keys over to the union to have them run my business. But that's the situation. You want to do business here, you have to meet your new partners. Meet your new partners. Folks, it's like organized crime, right? How about in the movie Goodfellas, where the restaurant guy, right, he's afraid of Tommy, Joe Pesci. So they go to him. So what does he do with Big Paulie? Now you're partners. You're partners. Now you got to pay him a certain amount every month. That's what it's like. How about in The Sopranos? When Davey, who owns the sporting goods store, what does he do? He goes to the executive game. He loses whatever it is. He owes Tony Soprano like 40 grand. Plus he already owed Ralphie. No, Richie. He owed him like 8 grand. So what happens? Well, they take over the sporting goods store and they run it into the ground to get their money. So that's what it's like. You want to do business in the state? Governor McKee says, come on in. By the way, I want to introduce you to your new partners. The business people say, whoa. What are you talking about? What partners? Oh, yeah, your new partner. And by the way, folks, again, this is how, the mob operates. This is how the mob operates in Russia. This is how do you think that's how the cartel, that's how organized crime, gangs. You go back to the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, wise guys show up at a nightclub. Just wanted to meet our new partners. The nightclub owner's like, what? Yeah, we're your new partners. We're going to run security for you. Oh no, let me explain again. I'm going to say it one more time. We're going to run security for you. Here's how much you're going to pay us each month. It's what it is, as they say in The Irishman. It's what it is. It's non-negotiable. Here's how much you're going to pay us. And then they'd love it to thrive. But if it doesn't thrive, you still got to pay us, right? Just like in Goodfellas. Oh, business slow? Blank, you pay me. Oh, did someone light fire to rent? Blank, you pay me. They don't care. The unions, they sink their teeth in, and then they just peel away the flesh. And McKee has said, it's like in Lion King. The hyenas come into the kingdom and take over. That's exactly what's going on. So Governor McKee thinks he has a false sense of security that he wasn't vindicated. The only thing that was proven was Attorney General Nerona is they can't prove how McKee got paid. By the way, it doesn't mean he wasn't paid. They just were unable to prove payment. So doesn't mean he wasn't paid. Doesn't mean they weren't going to pay him. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Dream Maker. Now, if you're thinking of a new bath or kitchen, contact Dream Maker, 401-433-7272. Dream Maker, their beautiful design center, Greenwich Avenue in Warwick. It's Dream Maker. You're thinking new bath or kitchen, Dream Maker, one-stop shop. Take you from concept to completion. Respect, integrity, customer focus. Dream Maker. Now, on this Halloween, if you're thinking of a new kitchen, you want your dream kitchen, contact Dennis and Christina at Dream Maker today. 401-433-7272. 401-433-7272. Dream Maker, their beautiful design center. It's right near Crown Plaza. It's right near Kachai. If President Trump lived or was building in Rhode Island and he was going to have kitchens, this is who he would go with. Dream Maker. 401-433-7272 for Dream Maker. Well, folks, good afternoon. This is the real news. President Trump in that garbage outfit was just a complete home run. And it did actually make him look thinner. So I am telling you right now, I don't know what happened to the Drudge Report. I used to love the Drudge Report. I was a big fan of Matt Drudge. And they've turned into MSNBC. And I don't understand it, because at 151, I think what's going on, and I played the cut of, and it's a businessman, and he speaks so eloquently explaining that the media have a narrative. In Rhode Island, you really see this. The media have a narrative of what they want the election to be decided on. And the reason why, I always tell people, the reason why people vote for people, it can actually be very simple. Many times, just locally, if you're listening or watching locally, many people, they vote for the candidate that they meet. And many times, whether it is for mayor, and there's a lot of mayoral races right now, whether it's Warwick or Cranston-Woonsocket, whether it's mayor or someone running as a rep or a state senator or city council, town council, the reason why the candidates get out there and go door to door is if someone appears at your door, research has proven over time you're more inclined to meet with that person. You met them. You didn't meet the other one, so you're more inclined to meet with them. Now, people may say there should be a lot more to it than that. This started in 1960. A lot of people, why did they vote for JFK? Why did they vote for Kennedy? Women thought he was attractive. He was younger. He looked good on television in the debate with Nixon. So now people don't like to hear that. But that can be an appeal of why someone cast a vote. Now, people can say, well, it shouldn't be about that. It should be about, see, they're trying to dictate what it's about. It should be about policies. It should be, but maybe that's not it. Maybe that's not it. So if you want to ignore or embarrass people why they're voting for someone, let's just say there's a focus group. Someone says, why did you vote for pick a person? And the person says, because they gave my cousin a job, or because of, whatever. A lot of times people, the media and the elites, they don't want to hear that. No, it should be about that. But many times it is about that. That's why they give out jobs. So in this election, is it the economy? As I've stated, I always think it's the economy is always a given. But Reagan was brilliant with that in 1980. Do you think you're better off now than you were 4 years ago? And people just didn't feel that way, let alone you had the Iran hostage crisis. But what I believe right now on this Halloween 2024, people want to think it's about democracies on the ballot. And they want to think it's about different. I really believe that people are looking at the two people, meaning Harris and President Trump, the vice president and President Trump. And they're seeing all these people coming into their country, and they don't speak the language. We're supposed to pay for them. People understand safety. People are hearing stories about crime. People are looking at a dangerous world. They don't like the war in Ukraine. They don't like what they're seeing going on in Israel. They don't like that all these drugs are flowing over the border. I really believe that this election is being decided on. People look at Trump, people look at Harris, and say, I think myself and my family will be safer with that guy in charge. I think that's it. I know that the media doesn't want that to be the answer. They don't want it to be the answer. They want, well, it shouldn't be about that. It should be about that. But I don't think that's how people feel. I think people look at it and say, I think that guy is going to keep me safe. Much like, folks, the way I talk about George at Rhode Island Guns and Ammo, Post Road in Warwick, right off Route 37. We have them on every Friday. I implore you to stop in to Rhode Island Guns and Ammo. Governor McKee has allowed the state, being a sanctuary state, to explode. It shouldn't be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. Rhode Island and Massachusetts and Connecticut, we should not be sanctuary states. It's more dangerous. We are far more generous to all of these individuals. There's a lot of things that could be done. In the meantime, stop into Rhode Island Guns and Ammo, Post Road in Warwick, right near Greg's. Tell George you're a friend of the program, as we like to say. I'm a friend of the show. Rhode Island Guns and Ammo. You can also find them on Facebook. Well, folks, good afternoon. I think, again, the weather, I want to wish everyone a happy Halloween. I hope everyone is safe out there tonight. I also, it will be a little bit crazy. We'll be out. We'll be active. I am anxious to see what's going to happen with Governor McKee with this 3:00 press conference. I think once again, he and his staff have misjudged that his spin is not going to work. His spin of that he was vindicated. That's not reality. That's not what happened. That's the only thing that was proven was they can't prove what he got. Not that he even got something. But if Governor McKee did get $50,000 in cash in a brown paper bag, $100,000 in cash in a brown paper bag, all they're saying is they were unable to find it. They're not saying that he didn't get it. Folks, this portion of our program brought to you by AJ Home Improvement. Call them today, 401 323 9252. 401 323 9252. Framed and finished basements, acoustical ceilings, new homes, additions, commercial rehabs, painting, remodeling. Give them a call. They can do it all. AJ Home Improvement, 401 323 9252. Free quote. Paint the inside of your home, have it remodeled. AJ Home Improvement, 401 323 9252. So, just to sum up on this Halloween, will we be active later? Yes, that's number one. Number two, Woonsocket. That was not a fatality. No one came into an emergency room. Now, I don't know if someone was driven to, I'm telling you, Woonsocket police say there was a small amount of blood. A vehicle fled. There were, I believe, 3 shell casings, but no one went into Landmark Medical Center. I implore you, if you're on one of those pages, that Kayla, whoever, it is so irresponsible for people to be posting, oh, yes, someone didn't make it. I can't believe people do this, but they do. Call them out on it. Call them out on it. There is no reason for that. They don't know what they're talking about. That's number one. Number two, the individual that was found in Lincoln apparently was this individual from North Providence, left a note, had the means, set off to do self-harm, and at some point did it last night, and that's why the road was closed, and that's who they found, very tragically. And once again, let's see what Governor McKee says later today, as he's going to, he thinks he's having a press briefing to say he's been vindicated. He has not been vindicated. All right, we will be doing road patrol later. I want to wish everyone a happy and safe Halloween. Be careful. Any of these children out there and out on the roads. If you're on the radio, stay tuned for the 2 o'clock news. Everyone else, will see you later today. We'll be out, Halloween edition of Road Patrol Live.